After you add your categories and your static pages to your WordPress blog, there are several settings that you can configure. I'll go over here to the settings heading, and you'll notice there are several under there: general, writing, reading, discussion, media, privacy, and permalinks. Let's take a look at what each of these do. The general settings contains information about the title of your blog, the URL, email address, some other things. So you put the title of your blog here. You can put a tagline. This is used by your WordPress theme to display information about the site. So you can put a tagline in there and where your blog is located. So if your blog was in a subfolder of your website, for instance, website.com/blog, you would put that in here. The email address, so this is the email address of the administrator. Membership, anyone can register, and the default role that they register as. So subscriber, administrator, editor, author, contributor. I'm going to leave it at subscriber, and if anyone's going to do any authoring or administrating, I'll set them to that manually. The time zone that it's in, so I'll set it to UTC +5, that's my time zone. The date format that I want to display, the time format, and the week starts on, I'll set it to Sunday, and save changes. The next thing you want to set is the writing settings. Now the size of the post box, when you're writing posts in the WordPress online editor, this is how high the screen is by default. It says 10 by default. I think that's just about right, so I'll leave it there. So formatting, convert emoticons to graphics on display. I don't know. You can leave that on or off. I don't really use that. WordPress should correct invalidly nested XHTML automatically. Of course, any help that it can give you cleaning up your code is welcome. The default post category, I configured a bunch of categories before, and you can pick whatever category that you want things to go into, so I'll just leave it as uncategorized. The default link category, blog role. The mail server, so if you want to post via email, you can do that. I actually don't. I think by the time you log into Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo or something, you might as well just log into WordPress and post from there. It really doesn't have any value to me, in my opinion. Remote publishing, so enable the Atom publishing protocol. This is a publishing format that will work with certain RSS readers. You should just turn it on. And XML RPC, enable WordPress, movable type, and Blogger publishing protocols. This is important because this lets you use desktop blogging editors like Windows Live Writer for Windows or Mars Edit for Mac, and there's several good ones for Linux that you can use. So I like using those personally, so I always enable that. Update services. When you publish or update an article on your blog, it will go out and ping a bunch of these services and let them know that there's an update, and then it will re-index and recrawl your site so the search engines know that there's the new and up-to-date information. This is pretty good for your search engine optimization. It comes by default with RPC Ping-O-Matic in there. I have a list that has a whole bunch, about 100 or so in here, so I'm just going to copy that and paste it in, and that way all these services will get updated whenever there's a new blog published here. So I'll click Save Changes, save all my writing settings. The next option, reading settings. So the front page displays your latest post, which will just be a chronological listing of your posts, or a static page if you want to do a custom page with your WordPress theme that makes it look like a magazine or something more fancy. I'm going to leave it at latest post for now, but if I was getting fancy with it, I would use a static page and design it up. How many posts should show on my front page? I'm going to put 10. 10 is the default. I like that, and I just leave it there. For each article in a feed, show full text or summary. There's about 1 million debates back and forth which say you should use full text, others say you should use summary. I prefer full text. I think it's more convenient for my readers who read it in their RSS readers or their email. I just leave it on there. And encoding, UTF-8. If you're publishing things in Asian languages like Japanese or Korean or Chinese, you definitely want a multi-bit character encoding, which this is. So I'll say Save Changes. Discussion. Several settings, some are checked by default and some are unchecked. So notify blogs linked to from the articles. This is pretty helpful. It sends a ping to blogs so that they know that someone linked to them. Allow link notifications from other blogs. If somebody links to you, you'll get notified. Allow people to post comments on new articles. Some other settings. Comment authors must fill out name and email. Users must be logged in to comment. You could use that if you want or not. Automatically close comments on articles older than 14 days. I usually leave that off. Enable threaded nested comments. That's pretty handy. I like the way that looks. Email me whenever anyone posts a comment. A comment is held for moderation. Before a comment appears, an administrator must approve the comment. I usually don't do that. There's a plugin that I'll show you later on that helps you knock out any spam comments. And comment moderation. If you find things that keep getting spammed, you could do that. So, for instance, Viagra or foreign exchange trading, those are common spam terms. You could do that. Or you could also even block IP addresses, email addresses, URLs, anything you want. Avatars. These are little handy things here next to people, so if somebody puts a comment, it'll display their picture from a service or a blank one if they don't have one. So I'm going to say Save Changes. Next we'll do media. So thumbnail size. What is the size that you want thumbnail images to be displayed at? The default is 150 by 150. That's what I usually use on my other blog. I like that size. I think it's just about right. Medium size images. So when you're in your post and you insert a medium or a large image into your post, these are the constraints or the size on that image. Large size, maximum width, maximum height. So you could just configure those to whatever you think is about right. Uploading files. Store uploads in this file. The default is WP content/uploads. That's what I leave it as. Full URL path to files. I always just leave this blank and let WordPress figure it out. And then I check this, organize my uploads into months. So for instance, it's 2011. So any uploads I had would be under 2011/01, 02, 03, 04 for the months. And just save changes. Privacy. Let's try those settings. This is pretty simple. Do you want your site to appear in search engines or do you not want it to appear in search engines? I really don't understand the point of writing a blog and publishing it to the web if you don't want anybody to read it. I think that's what diaries in your nightstand drawer are for. So I just leave this on. Permalinks. Permalinks are the default URL for new articles that you post. There's a couple different settings. So right out of the box it would say P equals 123, 124, 125. And just sequentially number your articles. Never use that. It's terrible. Then they have ones that have the date and the name, the month and the name, numeric. Those are all terrible. The one that you should go with is /, then a parenthesis, post name, parenthesis. So whatever your post name is, so if your post was my favorite new ice cream flavor, it would be my-favorite-new-ice cream-flavor, and that would become part of your URL. Again, this helps the reader detect what the article is about if they see a link. It also helps Google and other search engines figure out what it's all about, so it helps your search engine optimization, and it just makes more sense. This is optional, category based. You can do category and tag. So if there was a category called ice cream flavors, it would be URL/category/ice cream flavors or /category/restaurants or whatever. Same with a tag. And this also helps Google and your readers figure that they're looking at a category or a tag or a regular article. So I'll save these changes. And that's it. I've configured all the settings for the blog, and next we'll talk about how to write articles in the web interface.